You know what?
Cool.
I am flipping fantastic. I haven't been this good since the last time I was this good. I don't know if I was ever this good. I mean, I feel great, man. I love my new album. I'm feeling really good. You know, I'm looking as good as I can for being 32. Just kidding, 56. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. The sun's shining. Things are going good. We just got done rehearsing last night for the upcoming show on Friday at the Whiskey in Hollywood. And
nice.
we're doing our album release party, but we're gonna do a concert and have some special guests come up. And Don Dokken is down there working with us because we're gonna do one of his songs, and along with a few other people. So yeah, I've been great, man. I got no complaints, and quite frankly, nobody listens anyway.
It's kind of crazy. Like when I first found out, I was going to be doing this interview today, I like it took a few minutes, and then it hit me. I was like, oh shit! Like Great White was the very first band I ever saw live, and that was on the Judas Priest tour back in '84.
Really?
Yeah, I was a 14-year-old kid,
wow.
and you guys were the opening band, and I didn't know who you were, and it was me and the three other friends of mine. We were a bunch of 14-year-old kids at the show at the Philadelphia Spectrum, and I just remember being like,
oh, the Spectrum. I remember that gig. I love playing the Philly Spectrum, man. That is such a cool gig. It's not there anymore.
Yeah,
It's changed something else.
Yeah, and I was just, now it's the Wells Fargo. They knocked the Spectrum down.
Oh,
the
okay.
Wells Fargo.
All right, well, go ahead and finish the story. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right. So I just remember, like, that was like the nail in the coffin, like, where I was just like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to be like these guys on fucking stage kicking ass.
Yeah, that's, that there was, that was a day for me when I was down, I was watching Blur Cult at the Forum, And
right.
I remember sitting there telling my friends, like, when is these on beyond that stage? They're like, yeah, right, whatever. And then it was April 6th, 1988, and we were playing the Forum the next night with Whitesnake. And it was sold out, and I opened up my window to my room. I looked across the parking lot, and there was the Forum. I'm like, man, pulled it off, I'll give me hamburger and fries and Diet Coke, yeah. And to go. Sorry, bro, I mean to cut this out. Guys got to eat,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, I remember sitting there looking out across the parking lot going, man, I did it. It was kind of like that Jukebox Hero, right?
Right.
I remember going to the show, and I got to the show. Where do I sign this at? What do I do here? Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, so give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
That's
so
right.
Anyway, we got to the show, and then for sound check, right? We went to go to sound check, and I remember I went out and looked and tried to find that 22nd row load seat that I was sitting in for the Bush or Cole concert, And I figured I got within 50 feet of it, you know what I mean? So I sat down, I looked at the stage, and I said to myself, I go, man, you've come a long way, dude. And I figured about 500 feet.
That's awesome.
But, then we went back, and I remember it was just, we got our platinum album that night. Bobby Blotcher brought us out a platinum record. On
cool.
stage that night. It was a magical night, dude. It really was, And there's been moments like that in my life that I can't explain, or I'm not explaining, but I just can't even describe them. They were so wonderful,
Sure. Oh. Now, are you able to remember, when I mentioned the Philly Spectrum, you're like, I remember that show. I mean, do you able to do that with a lot of shows?
No, not with a lot of shows. I wish I could. I mean, Michael Laurie, was the guy that you always go to remember stuff. Because I used to call him Almanac. I mean, because he'd never forget anything, man. Hey, Michael, where were we in July 27th, 1986? No, 1989. He'd go, let's see, that would have been Tinley Park in Chicago, and the weather was the northwest at 5 knots, and the barometer was 2.2 inch rise. It wasn't that ridiculous, but, you know, he'd always be right. You'd look back in the old tour books, and you're like, damn, I can't believe he was right. You know, I can barely remember tying my shoes, you know.
Do you remember any of the Tower Theater shows from Philadelphia that you did?
Tower Theater.
I remember seeing you guys there twice and being blown away, but I can't remember who the hell you guys were playing with.
Was it Twisted Sister?
You know what? I think it was. I think one
yeah,
of them
that makes sense. That makes sense then, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, they were great. I remember, what was the guy's name? It wasn't JJ. He used to come in every day before the show. Yeah, he'd come in every day before the show, and he'd tell us stories, right? You know what I mean? And it was just cracking and stuff. We'd all be waiting there every single day for him to come in and tell us a story, you know? Animal Mendoza, we became really good friends. He's just an awesome guy. And they were all great guys, you know. I remember, what was he telling me? Oh, God, come on, remember. Oh, God, I had a brain fart, man. I sort of remembered again. What happened? Oh, yeah, I remember what happened. We were racing to the gig. We had something happened to the bus, okay? And we're racing to the show to get there, and it's at this theater. And my bus driver is literally driving down one-way streets the wrong way just to get us at the gig on time, right? So we're all dressed and we're ready to go, and he goes down this one-way street. We're going, oh, no, you know, and people are just diving out of the way. Cars are swerving everywhere. We pull up to the venue. We jump out of the door. We ran right on the stage after the guy goes, we're in Los Angeles, great white. We just come running on stage. That was the closest I've ever been to being late for a show. You know, that was like insane. But, we did it.
So you never had any Axl Rose moment then, huh?
No. I mean, it's just, you go on what time you go on. You know, whether you're scared or whatever, you got a hangnail or one of your toenails ain't painted quite right or whatever the case may be. I mean, you got a big boy and pick up your pants and go do it, you know. I mean, I've been on stage with a shattered femur and I sat in a stool for the whole show while I lost 2 units of blood.
Oh.
You know, and they had to take me to the hospital after the show and reconstruct my leg and put a bar and a prosthetic hip in. You know, so,
Yeah, you've been through a lot, man, especially like in the last 15 years. I mean, between...
Yeah, it's all self-done. You know what I mean? I'm not only but myself to blame. You know, it's just drugs and alcohol, man. You know, I mean, it's... Ever since the fire happened, you know, I mean, I've been spiraling down, you know. I mean, I've been through, you know, just... Can't believe the hours of treatment I've had, you know.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
it's horrific, man.
It's totally understandable, though. I mean, like, with the situation with the fire, I mean, what can you do? I mean, I think it would happen to the greatest person walking the earth. I mean, they would spiral. I mean,
yeah, I know. I mean, I get it. I'm not beating myself up over it. It was just another way for my disease to get in the door, you know.
Right.
And
right.
You know, it took almost a year and a half ago I got sober, but that took me being in a coma for 5 days, and with my liver almost shut down. And when I woke up, my room was full of people, and then my wife, my guitar player, his wife, my manager, my friend from Chicago, all these different people, you know. Is this mine, huh? No. Okay, so you know, and then the doctor comes in, and my wife explained to me what happened. I was like, oh, my God, you know. My doctor comes in, he goes, I heard you're some kind of celebrity. I said, well, you know, some people say that, you know. And he goes, well, I'll tell you what. He goes, the way your wife's been telling me that how you drink, if you drink again, you will die. Not maybe, might, could, should, you will die. Because I'm not, and I say that with the utmost respect, and I want you to understand that I'm not trying to scare you straight, because quite frankly, it's not going to matter to me if you die,
Right.
It's not going to change my life one bit, because I'll be sad and I'll be upset because I told you already that you shouldn't do it, and you went out and did what I told you not to do, and it killed you. Put it this way, if you drink again, it's like playing Russian roulette with 6 bullets. Are you going to put a gun on the table that's fully loaded and play Russian roulette with it? No. Then don't drink again, because the same exact thing is going to happen. It'll just be more painful.
How tough has that been for you? And it's still got to be a fight
not
day to day?
Tough. No, man, not at all. I'm just so thankful to be alive, and I know that was my last chance, and I treat it like that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That was my life. That was my ninth life. You know what I mean? I spent them all, but I think I'm in the red. Actually, I think I owe a few lives. You know what I mean?
Right. Did any point, was there any point, over, since the fire and everything, over the health and all that over the years, where you were just thinking to yourself, man, fuck this shit, I'm done with music, I'm done with all this?
Oh, yeah. There was a few times, my wife kept me on track. There was a time when, I shattered I had my colon burst on an airplane. And I had to fly from the east to west coast with a burst colon. And the pain, I can't even tell you, dude, I was screaming in the plane, screaming. And it was and then I remember passing out, and then I woke up in L.A. on a stretcher, and my wife came and got me, and we were going to go originally to this Eisenhower Hospital out in Palm Desert, because that's where I lived at the time, and it was a really good hospital. But, we landed on Ontario Airport, and that's about an hour and 15 minutes away, and I tried to make it, but I just couldn't. The pain was too great. I go, find the next big white H and go there. So we ended up in this little hospital called San Gregorio, and now I'm talking about, this was the gross, disgusting place. I mean, it was just dirty, and, it was just archaic. But I'll tell you one thing, this doctor there, he really knew his stuff, because he saved my life, and they thought I was going to be dead. They told my wife that she needed to start filling out my paperwork.
Wow.
Because when that happened, everything in my bowels spilled into my body cavity.
Right.
And it gives you what's called sepsis, which is, a complete poisoning of your whole body.
Sure.
And so they had to lay me on a table, cut me from stem to stern, you know what I mean? From my navel to my chest or wherever they got to do. They pulled all my intestines out, all my organs out, had them laying on a table, and washed my whole body cavity out, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And, I think I wasn't awake to see that. I can imagine to go to see all your organs. Hey, that's my liver. Wow, what a trip.
Right.
Well, those kidneys, wow, I know I had 2 of them.
Wow.
I'm kidding. But, kidding, kidneys. Oh, boy, it's all a kid joke. Anyway, so, just one more time, like I said, I woke up with 5 days later out of a coma, another 5 days. My comas usually go from 5 days to 5 days.
You keep them that 5-day radius.
Yeah, I keep them 5 days. Any longer, I'm just getting too much rest.
There you go.
So, it was horrible. I woke up and I'm in this bed and I'm like, what the hell? And I go, oh no, down and I see this bag. I'm like, oh my God. I go, please. My first question was, please tell me this can be reversed. He goes, oh yeah, no problem. And I didn't really believe until they actually did it. That's how scary I was. Scared of that.
Right.
And my hat goes off to anybody that has to wear one of those permanently or impermanently. is a total nightmare. And if you have one, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I'll pray for you, as I do for everybody that's ever has or has to have one of those, because it was always an accident. There was always something going wrong. And it was in a spot that I couldn't get it. I couldn't actually tape it on myself. They have this really gnarly glue, right? And after a while, it would be just tearing off skin. I mean, it was like if you touched it or if you blew on it, it'd be like, ah, because the skin kept tearing off with the glue that holds the bag on,
Right.
And it was really, I read on some site the other night, they were commenting on just a bunch of junk, and she said, yeah, Jack Russell had a cloth bag on purpose. I couldn't even get mad. I'm thinking this person's got to be this person is an insult to stupid people. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God! Yeah, I had it on purpose. So yeah, I intentionally went in and I cut a hole in my colon so that way they could remove part of it. So I don't have a whole colon now, and then I had a colostomy bag for 9 months. I had a pulmonary embolism as a result of that, which could have killed me any second. Then what else? Joyce thinks I get to do. Gee, I got to stop working for a while, which would have made paying the bills a whole lot easier. And
sure.
Let's see, what else? What other fun things happen with that? That would make me want to do that. It's just ludicrous, man. I mean, I'm serious. It is a hard thing. So I woke up. I was in the hospital for 3.5 months. Right? I got up. I weighed 137 pounds. I could not walk. I had to go to a physical therapist to teach me how to walk again. I had to learn how to eat again. I mean, I was like a baby. I mean,
wow.
It was like so weird not having your muscles move where you want them to. It's the strangest feeling. I mean, at one point I could take my hands and I could touch my middle finger and my thumbs around the very top of my thigh, closest to your glutes.
No shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was skinny, like it looked like I was a Auschwitz, Dachau victim. You know what I mean, or Auschwitz.
Right.
It was really, really scary.
So in other words, like I think when you signed up to be that true quote unquote rock and roll star, that was not in the memo.
No, that didn't come with the factory how to operate. No, it wasn't in the instructions, that's for sure. But
right.
I don't read the instructions. I'm the guy that builds something, ends up with like 10 parts left over. Oh, well, I guess you didn't need these. There must be extra ones. Manual? Why would I read the manual? I know how to do this.
but I mean, after all you've been through, though, I mean, your voice still sounds amazing. I mean, this is like, I guess, truly an amazing comeback for you. This album, especially.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel that way. I feel a lot. Like I was able to do a little bit of, what shoving. I'm kind of
right.
Say, hey. Always count to the count me out. I always say never count a Russell out.
Right.
Especially this one, because I will surprise you. I mean, there's a song on there. It's called "He Saw It Coming." It's the title track, and that's what that's about. It's about there's these two kids, and they're one of the rooms, and they're waiting for the big brother to leave so they can sneak in and play his drums and guitar. And those kids were supposed to be Robbie and I, right? And have you heard the song?
Yes.
Okay, so it starts like that, and they go down to his room, and you open the door, and all of a sudden they're on stage for this huge audience. They get all freaked out, and they run back and slam the door behind them. And they were just talking about, wow, that was cool, man. Should we go in? And the other guy said, no. He goes, come on, you wimp, let's go. All right, let's go, you wimp. So they open up the door, and the crowd starts going crazy, and they close the door behind them, and the song starts. And the first lyrics are, you say my time is over, You look at me and shake your head. You say I've had my day, and you can't believe that I'm not dead. No, I've fallen down 1,000 times, 1,000 times I've risen. You've watched me agonize in pain, but still I stand and deliver, and so on, so on and so forth. But it's talking about, directly. I mean, because how many times have I fallen on stage? I mean, they got that one shot that had like 50,000 something views of me falling off a stool. It's like,
right.
I watch that. It's like, ow, 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 ow. I remember that,
Now, was the
so
album
I have fallen down 1,000 times,
And you got up every time, though.
Every time, man, and I still can stand up and deliver it. You know what I mean?
Now,
I don't mean that. I mean that with all humility. I mean that by the grace of God, I can still do this.
Absolutely. Now, were you originally going to call the album The Gauntlet?
Yeah, and because they had their album called Elation, which is really obviously stupid. You know what I mean? Though we're so elated to have Jack out of the band now, we can run it, and we don't have this big tyrant. I get it. So I decided that the Gauntlet was going to be a jab at them. In the old Middle Ages, throwing down the gauntlet and a challenge the other night. You know what I mean? And
I got you.
So I thought, you know what? I had the cover already done and everything. I'm like, nah, this is just too childish. You know what I mean? It's too stupid for us all to keep jabbing at each other. And I took a couple stabs the other day at some interviews. I'm wishing I didn't, because it just doesn't make me come off in a good light, And I'm really, truly a nice guy, but this interview, what they did with it, the way they chopped it up made me look like a real, I don't know if you read it or not, the Blabbermouth piece. But it was like,
right.
God, man, I've it was the whole interview. They just cut that one section out as if it was the whole interview,
Okay.
So, that's why I always got to remind myself, you got to be careful when you're doing interviews or on paper, because they can't hear your vocal inflections. I mean, you can say something and mean something else, and on paper you could take it in all kinds of ways,
Sure.
So
sure.
I gotta mean that, and I gotta not let people bait me, especially about the fire, or this was on the bands breaking up. How'd that go? And it's like, dude, the story's been out like 5 years. Do you really need to talk about it? It's like, come on, let's talk about something. Let's talk about the new album. How about that?
There you go. So, well, I'll tell you what. Let me ask one question. It's not even really a question about the whole band thing. It's more or less like an observation from, I'm going to say, maybe the general fan or just myself. But like when I see a situation like what's going on with you and the other guys, or like a Rat or a Queensryche, and like looking at the situation, I just say to myself, like I said, like I saw you guys back in '84, like the first band I ever saw live on stage. I'm thinking to myself, you guys must have such an amazing history together, such beautiful music made together, such great times. Yes, there were some bad times, some horrible times, but it's just like at the end of the day, I think it's just a sad situation that it just can't be worked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, there's been way too much stuff expressed that should have just been, not talked about. Some things you just don't say. You take to your grave with you,
Right.
Because it's going to hurt somebody, And I said a few things in the ending that I just should not have said. And, because I was really, really hurt, man. I couldn't get a phone call from these guys. These guys are my best friends in the whole world. And nobody even called me, So, anyway.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah. But I understand, I mean, who wants to call somebody and they're all telling them they're sober when they can hear that he's all wasted, I mean. So I'm sober, man. I haven't had a drink or anything for a long time. Something like that, I don't know how I sound when I'm drunk, because I'm drunk. It sounds perfectly fine to me,
Right.
So, it's tragic. I mean, it really is, because, the way me and Mark got together and all the years we spent together and just did everything with each other,
right.
It was always by me and him. It was like teams to the end. That was our motto, you know what I mean? And or our anthem is what it was, our anthem. You know, so we'd always be like, "Seems to the end," you know.
Do you think one day you might just say, like, screw it and pick up the phone and just give him a call and say hi?
I don't have his number. I tried to get a hold of him a while back. There was a lot of monies owed to us that I found, and I wanted to call him and tell him the information so we could go pick up, you know, quite a bit of money.
Right.
And I told the manager to get a hold of them and ask him if he could speak to me about it. So, you know, good financial, something very good for him financially. And he just told me, no, I don't want to speak to him. So I said, well, you know what? Then let them go find the money on their own. You know, I'm sure they have by now. You know, but if not, better start looking.
Yeah. So, all right. So going back to the album, I mean, you got to be super excited. I mean, so many positive reviews, great. I mean, people are loving it.
Oh, yeah, you kidding me, man? I've never had a response of any album I've ever done like the response I've had with this record. I've never had so many interviewers calling me up and going, oh, my God, oh, my God, and this song, and then this song, and I got to play this one like 4 times in a row, and I'm like, slow down, dude, slow. It's like, slow down, Ridden Child, you know? But it's awesome. You know, there's so much passion in these people. I'm going, wow, they really get it, you know? And, I mean, I know it's a special record. You know, I really, really, really do. And I'm not talking like, you know, special, like Down syndrome special. I'm talking like it's a special record, you know?
Right. Now, what's what's your truly favorite track that means the most to you off the album?
Oh, my God. Are you serious? Really? Well, the song that means the most to me would have to be He Saw It Come, because that was about my life. Did I tell you that story? I told you that story about when I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about that. You know, about me all of a sudden discovering what my destiny was going to be. You know, and it also talks about you know, when everybody says they know you, you know, and you have no clue who they are. You know what I mean? It goes, I am his friend, don't even know the man. I know him well. Who is he? You know, so, and it just goes on talking about scratching, you know, crawling, don't stop. You know, you got to hear it. It's a really, really good tune. I'm sure you have. I was speaking to the audience.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'll
my
tell you
other
what,
favorites... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when I first got the album, I honestly, I was shocked. I really was. Like, I wasn't... From the first tune I got, I was like, oh, wow. Like, this is really freaking good. Like, I was not expecting it. You really caught me off guard.
Good. I'm glad. That's the only way for a good knockout, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
I'm really glad you enjoy it, man. Cause, my favorite songs... Go ahead. How about what?
Anything for you.
Oh, I wrote that for my wife.
She's been
sick for a number of years. And they gave her a 20 to 50% chance of living for the next 2 to 5 years, you know? And,
oh, wow.
It makes me really sad when I think about it, because I can't live without her, you know? I don't want to sound like a pussy here, but I love my wife. You know, she's my world. It's just me and her. Everywhere we go, we're together, you know? You know, she's been real sick.
And she's been there for you, yeah, man. That's
she's always been there for me, you know, and she brought me, you know, she took care of me and kept me from dying, you know. And I'm just so sad that she doesn't feel well, you know. So
well, now you got to be there for her.
She's gonna be okay. I am here for her, man. I'm here for her all the way, you know. And she's just a sweetheart. She's the sweetest woman I've ever known. And I know I sound like a big wimp, but you know what, though? That's the love I have for my wife, and if anybody doesn't like it, well, I'm sorry you don't have what I have, you know?
Hey, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's rare to have that.
It is rare.
Especially nowadays.
It is rare. I've been through, this is my 3rd marriage, should have been my 4th, thank God it wasn't. But, you know, it's just, she's an incredible person. I mean, just a person She's smart. She's sober. She's used to be a nurse. I mean, a hospice nurse. You know what I mean? that watches other people dying, you know. And
sure.
just, you know, never drank, never smoked, nothing. Total we're like the antithesis of each other, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it works, you know, it works. And now that I'm sober, we don't butt heads, you know. So it's great. It's great. Yeah, that song, I was crying when I wrote it, and I was crying when I sang it.
Yeah,
because
I mean, you can hear the
emotion.
You can hear the emotion in your voice when on the album.
Well, excuse me. Well, one thing I remember is when Robbie and I were working on the lyrics, you know, we got to that part where it goes, "What would you say as the last thing before I walk away?" or something like that, you know what I mean? And he goes, How about pass away? I just started crying, man. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, dude. We won't do that. I go, no, that is exactly the word. He goes, are you sure? I go, yeah, man, that's going to yank at somebody's heartstrings, like, big time.
Yeah, dude, like, I cringed at first. I was like, wow, like, that's so deep.
Well, you know what it is? For me, I just want to put it all out there. I want to be as honest as I can be, talking about my life, and I want to talk about the things that everybody can relate to. You know what I mean? If you haven't been in that situation, you will be. You know? So if you want to appreciate the person you love as much as you can, just think about that for a second.
Right.
What would you say if the last thing you could ever say to that person?
Wow.
Would it be enough? Would it be anything to comfort you or comfort them or you both? You know, I love you. Okay, you said that a billion times. You know, will it be enough? Will it be the way you want? I don't know. It just freaks me out, you know?
Sure. Now, when you're performing, are you doing that song live, or is it too much for you to handle doing it?
Not yet. We're doing the first single, Sign of the Times. We're doing She Moves Me, and we're doing My Addiction. But I want to do videos for all the songs. We're in the process of doing that. You know, I want every song to have its own video.
That would be awesome.
I think so too. And I think, you know, the way things go today, I think that would be a very good idea as well. You know,
Absolutely.
I just like to have the visual and the audio components, you know. I think it's more interesting.
Do you think it's like more important nowadays almost than back in the mainstream, like the heyday of MTV for video?
Well, no, that's a good question. You know, and I really don't have an answer for it. I'd have to, you know, do some math, to say the least. I have to look up a bunch of stuff. But you know what? You're probably right, because that's the only way younger bands can even get noticed.
Right.
I mean, sure, you could probably play in your own town. You know what I mean? But when you start going outside of your town, you can't just go a block at a time. You know what I mean? There's always going to be a gig. You know, so you gotta have an agent, you know, or the internet, so the customer can hear, you know, at least something that's as representative of the band as it could be. You know, you want to send some pile of crap out. You know what I mean? Those guys sound terrible. You know, at least record it with an actual high def camera and some decent mics. You know. But you know, I mean, yeah, it's about the only way, because I mean, you know, the internet is a way to promote your band now.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, there was other ways. I mean, there still is. I mean, you know, but you know, it's expensive. You know.
True.
So I mean, I'll tell you this: if I was going to start a band right now, I probably wouldn't. I would have to, because that's what's in my passion, and I would find a way to make it work. I don't know how. I don't have a clue. I mean, we're learning stuff right now. Okay, how are we gonna make this work? How are we going to, make the most of our money? What are we going to spend our money on? What are we going to do? How, promotion. What do we need to, it's there's so many unknowns, but we're figuring them out,
Right.
And we're not afraid to put our own money into this thing either, because, I believe in it. Believe.
Now, how about tour? You guys going to be doing any tour? I saw you have, some festivals and stuff booked.
No, I'm not doing any touring. Hell no. That doesn't do anything off the record. Yeah, of course we'll be playing. We'll be playing as much as we can, man. I love to play. There's nothing like playing live. It's like you write a great album, then you want to go out and play for people.
Absolutely.
That is like the most fun ever. And then when people respond really good to something new, it's like, right on. I love that. It's like, especially nowadays when people, all they want to hear is your old stuff, which is great. I don't mind playing it, but, there's bands that won't even record a new album,
Yeah, I think Kiss is on that.
They think it's just like a waste of time. Oh, it's just a waste of time. No, it's like, why, man? Somebody's got to break through this stuff. You can't always be this way. Somebody eventually is going to do an album where somebody goes out and says, I'm buying a copy. I'm not going to steal one. I want to have the cover art. I want to have all the liner notes,
Right. There's so much
I'm
good
hoping
music
it's going to be this one. Yeah, I know there's a lot of good music out there.
I think it is, without a doubt. This is one. This is definitely a top pick for the year.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't know what to say to that, but I just say thank you very much. We worked really hard on it, and we put all the love and care you would into raising a child,
Right.
Everybody just played so well. And I have such a great band. They're such nice men, and their families are really nice. And I've never actually knew a group of people like this before.
Wow.
I didn't even know they made people like this,
Sure.
They're so strong. It's just a totally united front,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is.
Do you think, because this album, it's very personal to you. Do you think it's been also kind of therapeutic as well?
It's very therapeutic and very cathartic, It's, it's basically, every record I've ever done has basically been a snapshot of where I am mentally at the time, what's going on in my life. Okay, well, this is what's going on with Jack right now, And, with the exception of Spy versus Spy, but you never know, though. See, I could be a spy, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. So, if I was, like I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you, and if I told you, I'd probably have to kill you. So,
there you go. Yeah, let's not do that.
So, for the sake of killing my friends, I'll just keep the information, to myself.
There you go. But keeping the information to yourself, are you actually writing a book? Did I see that right?
Yeah, I'm working on one. And I should just call it, "You Ain't Gonna Believe This Shit." Because, I'm telling you, my life is riddled with just unbelievable, miraculous stories that are just, they sound like science fiction. It's like, there's no way that ever happened to that guy. No way. It's just, it's really like one of those movies you go, come on. Oh, yeah, the guy gets blown 25 feet in the air by something the size of a pencil. It's like, come on. Really? And he's not even hurt, there's just so much ridiculous on TV. But, that would, it's it's going to be an interesting read for a lot of people. They're going to know a lot more about me than I think they even want to. I have a very checkered past. Looking for the car keys?
I'll drive.
Yeah, you drive. I'm viewing. So, it's going to be a great book. It's going to be a great book. I've got part of it done. I've got a lot to go because I have so many stories, and I got to figure out which ones to keep, without making it something like Leo Tolstoy novel,
Right.
War and Peace, only longer. Jack Russell, Volume 2, Ka-thunk. 20-pound book. I mean, your whole life you spend, you still can't finish it. I'll just get it on tape.
So if it ever becomes a movie, who do you want to play yourself in the movie?
Who would I have play myself in a movie? Oh,
yeah.
Brad Pitt. Looks just like me.
There you go.
Now, that's a good question. I don't. Who would I have play me in a movie, honey? You know the actress. Oh, Jeff Bridges? Yeah, he's too old now, though.
Oh.
But at one point, we looked a lot alike. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you know him personally?
I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
Oh, you know who he is? Yeah. But we do resemble each other, I mean, at times I go, wow, yeah, he does. You know what I mean? It's kind of trippy, Who would I pick to play me at my age now? God, man. I mean, I would love Kurt Russell, but he's too old. I don't know. What would you think?
Yeah, honestly,
no,
I thought the Brad Pitt thing could work. I really did.
Yeah, Brad Pitt could work, sure. When he has long hair, absolutely it could work.
Yeah.
But that's totally taking poetic license on that one. We realize there's a disclaimer on the front. We realize that Brad Pitt looks nothing like Jack Russell, but at the insistence of Mr. Russell, we decided to go ahead and put Brad in the movie.
Jack, I want to thank you for taking time out and talking about all this stuff and.
Oh, my pleasure, man. And I really appreciate. Thank you for not getting into some subjects that I really don't like to talk about anymore. I really appreciate that. You didn't get into the whole band thing, and because some guy, I don't know, you probably read that Blabbermouth piece, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and there was a whole
here.
interview. I don't think he did it. I think Blabbermouth cut it. Because he has the whole iPod thing, which was really cool up to that point where I started being stupid and just. Was all butthurt, and then, but then there was some baiting going on a little bit too, I noticed when I read it and heard it. But, I'm smart enough than that. I should have just said, you know what? I've talked about that enough. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. And just let it lie,
Yeah, there's only so many times you can talk about the same thing over and over. I mean, everybody knows the story.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've got to say. You know what I mean? I'm just starting to learn that now after all these years.
And plus,
anyway, thank
you.
Put
it all in the book
ahead.
anyway.
I put it on the book anyway. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, where can everybody get the album so they can experience it?
We get Amazon. Amazon. Where else? Spotify, iTunes.
Cool. Very cool. Everybody needs to go out there and buy it.
The pledge is done now. Yeah. I think our pledge campaign's over, so I don't know. But that would be a good way to do it because there was a lot of cool extra stuff you could get,
cool.
This one guy got a house party, so Robbie and I are gonna fly to his house and do a concert for him and however many friends he wants,
That's awesome.
So that's
pretty
cool.
Party.
Yeah.
How do I get a house party?
That'd be fun. Yeah. Play our record enough, we'll figure it out.
There you go.
show me some spins, boy.
You got it. I'm going to start spinning.
All right. Start spinning.
Jack, before I let you go, if I can just get you to cut an ID for me. This is Jack Russell.
Of course.
Jack Russell. I don't know if you can say Great White or not, but
no, I say Jack Russell. Jack Russell's a Great White. Yeah.
There you go. And you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
You got it. Ready? Hey, this is Jack Russell from Jack Russell's Great White, and you are listening to Totally Driven Radio.
Awesome. Jack, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, my friend, and I really appreciate your comments on the album, man, and I enjoyed this interview immensely, which is not something I usually say to anyone. So I really appreciate it, man. Have some good times and good laughs. You got it, man. Keep doing what you do. You're really good at it.
Hey, I hope to see you guys come out to Philly, too.
Yeah, I'd love to get to Philly. We're trying to go everywhere this year, so, we got a record to support, man, so I want to support it.
Cool.
All right, bro. Talk to you later, man.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.